What's up everyone? So if you're like me and your BMW has no navigation from the factory, or you have factory navigation and you want something newer, well this video is for you because we're going to install the Avin Avant 4 navigation system head unit, and we're going to use a Dynavin relocation bracket for the HVAC, which includes two USBs. So I'll explain at the end of this video why I chose these over the competitors, and let's just get started with the install first. Alright, so first we're going to remove the trim piece. Use a plastic trim tool, don't use a fork like me. I didn't have the piece. And with the first part removed, you're just going to remove the second part, same way. Now, if this piece comes out, don't worry, just use some pliers to pull it out and put it back into the hole. To remove the stereo, we need to remove two screws on each side. And then once the screws are removed, you're just going to pull it out carefully. And there's going to be two wires. So you just remove the antenna wire and then get a flathead screwdriver to remove the 17-pin adapter. Now my car doesn't have navigation, so I only had these two wires. Alright, set it aside. And we have two more screws to remove up here, which will allow us to remove the HVAC little vent. So just lift up and it should come out. It might be a little stiff at first. For the HVAC, just pull out from the back, and I'm going to put the car in neutral to remove the sunglass cover. Just lift up and pull out and it'll come right out. Now we have two more screws on the bottom, and with the two screws on the bottom removed and the HVAC wires out, the bracket will come right out because we do not need this no more. And then two screws at the bottom to help remove out the bottom bracket. Now you're going to use a plastic tool to remove the shift boot, and then there's two screws at the bottom to remove. Now once these screws are removed, you're gonna make sure the car's in neutral or drive so it's easier, and just lift up, and there's two more screws on top of this little trim piece. I just maneuvered it and I was able to get it out, so be careful. A lot of people remove the piece, I didn't want to. And I just removed the socket wires and the two T8 Torx screws for the little control module. Now to get the little lighter socket out, you need to remove the two tabs on each side. And we're going to switch to the Dynavision Bracket. So I just stick it inside, it'll go right in, and it'll click. And then we're going to connect all the wires. There's a diagram in the box to tell you how to connect these wires. There's also a USB included, which is nice. So everything looks good. The little bracket is in. We're going to screw it in using the T8 screws. Alright. So with the bracket in, it looks good. We're going to maneuver this in a little bit and connect the wires. So the wires will go straight to where they were before. So just push them in and they will connect. It's a good time to test out if the USB actually works. So let's see. Yep, perfect. So just connect the wires back. And after connecting them, you're going to notice that it doesn't go in. This little plastic piece needs to be flipped. So be sure it's flipped before you have to undo everything like me. And then once it's in, it should go in pretty simply. Just work backwards, screw in the two screws for the plastic bracket, and then put the two screws in at the bottom for the shift boot, and then we're just going to click everything in slowly. Next, the HVAC, you're just going to put in all the wires, and you're just going to do the two screws on the top, don't forget like I did, and just click it in. And then once it clicks in, it should be good. And this is the head unit, so it looks really OEM, it looks really nice, and it looks like we have an HDMI out cable here. I'm probably not going to use this, but let's go ahead and wire this thing. So this is the 17-pin adapter, and it just plugs straight in, and you just push it in and click it in. And we have backup camera, iBus adapter, and this is the CAN bus. So you're going to plug this in and stuff this aside somewhere inside. Next, we have the USB, and then we have the Wi-Fi antenna. So I'm going to put the Wi-Fi antenna right here. I found it to work fine from here, and it sticks. As for GPS, I'm going to stick it here, and I also found it to work fine. So the CarPlay adapter, we're going to plug into the USB that's on the front of the HVAC relocation bracket, and we're going to plug it into the yellow USB. I don't think it matters which color you use, but yeah. As you can see, it started up. Now, the colors match not too well right now, but you can change that in the settings. And this is the main interface. So, as you can see, it tries to copy that BMW look. And then we're going to go ahead and test out CarPlay. So, click Autoplay. and looks like it works. So when I disconnect it, it'll disconnect. This is great. So it works both wireless and wired. And I'm going to make a video on all the functions next. So we'll go through all these things to see what does what. And on the amplifier, if you click loudness, it makes the sound much better. I think equalizer doesn't really do anything, but the loudness button does really nice. So it's running Android. You can do basically everything an Android head unit does. And the reason I chose this head unit is because it has better specs. It has 4 gigs of RAM and a 6-core CPU. And I chose the relocation bracket because of the USBs, and the OEM was really expensive. So anyways, be sure to subscribe and we'll continue on looking at the features.